Now that my printer's up and running well, I've been using Octolapse to take time lapses of the prints in action. Octolapse is a plugin for Octoprint on the Octopi, the Raspberry Pi controller that now drives my 3D printer. Octolapse comes with several settings, and the way I've configured it, it monitors changes in the Z height on the 3D print, and every time the 3D print goes up a level, it takes another snapshot. It's quite clever because it injects a piece of code that moves the head, the print head, to the back of the bed every time it does it. So what you get is this print up layer by layer that seemingly appears out of thin air without the blur of the print head on the top of the print. All of my 3D prints start at the top of the screen and they gradually grow over time towards the bottom of the screen. For me it feels a bit unnatural looking at the top of the screen to start, so what I did in editing was zoom in slightly, arrange the print to be roughly in the middle of the screen, and then change the tilt angle over time to make the print appear as though it was in the middle. It always felt to me to be a bit of a shame to throw away some of the pixels that you're taking on the camera, especially when it's so low resolution to start with. So I came up with a mechanical solution to tilt the camera for me during the print run. This was my mechanical solution. The top clamps onto the top of the rig, this arm extends under the Z-axis, and the camera's mounted in the middle here. As the Z-axis descends, this arm is pushed lower and lower and lower, and the camera tilts as it goes. But because the gear ratio on the back, the camera only tilts half as much as the angle of this arm descends. So what happens is that the print ends up staying much more in the middle of the screen during the whole process. So instead of having to go through in post-editing and do all of that process for me, it's already done by the time I download the time-lapse. I made it in Lego. Lego's quick and easy to prototype. Empirically I changed the gear ratio slightly so it's almost 2:1, and that tilts the camera down a little bit faster than it would do with a 1:1 ratio. This keeps the print slightly more better angled. Once I was happy with the Lego prototype, I modelled the whole design in Onshape, took it to my 3D printer, printed out a permanent version to live on my rig. You can see here, it's mounted to the top of the frame. You've got your two large gear ratios at the back here, and I'm using a clear acrylic rod to extend under the Z-axis. Because it's clear, even if it does show on the camera, you probably won't notice it. So as the Z goes down, the whole thing tilts over, the camera tilts up and down, and gives you a nice shot.